All I hear after that is the girl on the other side of me yell, "Molly, run." Hey guys, it's Molly here again for another video, and this is a story I've been waiting to share with you guys for a while now. I feel like I needed to process what we went through, kind of like move on from it a little bit before I felt ready to share it with you guys. Because honestly, you know, there's always like, my Uber driver kidnapped me, and it's like, Uber driver took like a wrong turn. You know, like I feel like a lot of story times can seem like over dramatic. This, if anything, will be under dramatic, because my mother can attest, and thousands of other people can attest, that what we went through that night in New York City was horrifying, traumatizing, and the closest to death we have ever been. Okay. Let me just take it back. We're gonna set the scene for you guys. New York City, early October, late September, getting that fall air. I was there with a brand. The brand shall remain unnamed. I was on a trip with a brand and some other creators. There was about 15 creators and probably about 5 people involved on the team in running the trip that were a part of this experience. It was our final night in New York City and our kind of biggest moment of the whole trip. It was essentially like one of the biggest reasons we were there, which was for a big festival that was happening in Central Park. I mean, I feel like I don't need to tell you because I'm sure everybody knows what it is, but like it's the biggest park in New York City. It's a whole lot of green space and land and trees and walking paths, and it's beautiful. It was like the perfect place to have this cool festival. There was so many great artists playing. My husband, Shawn Mendes, was playing. I sadly missed it. It's fine. I could like hear him while I was walking to the event. We all got to the event. It was like a 40-minute walk. I was sweaty by the time I got there because I was like, ooh, it's fall. I'll wear this like chunky, cozy knit sweater. And then I was actually physically dying into a puddle of sweat. It was really attractive. And so the first thing that happened when we got there is we were supposed to go to this VIP area where I don't know who else was going to be in the VIP area. I guess like the artists that were performing. Could have been so close to Shawn. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And they were going to have like seats and food and drinks and stuff like that. Whereas the kind of rest of the festival, where I believe there was about 60,000 people there, was just kind of sectioned off by metal like barricades. And those sections like didn't have food. There was no seating except the grass. It was just kind of more like open festival vibes. We were all supposed to go to the VIP area, but we got there a little bit late, and we were there to capture a specific announcement that was being made. They were like, oh shoot, we think the announcement's coming really soon, so we don't have time to get to the VIP area. So we'll keep you guys at the back here where there's like a really good view of the stage and the screens so that we can capture it from here in case it's about to happen. And so we all stand around. This girl comes up to me. She was super sweet. She's like, oh my God, are you Molly? And I was like, yes, but I'm so sweaty. So I was like, can you give me like 3 seconds? Because we had literally like just got there. And I like stole somebody's spare t-shirt and quickly like did a stealth change inside of my knit sweater. And then took a photo with her, and we grabbed some like water. You could buy water bottles. So we bought some water, and like, you know, everything was going fine. We're all just kind of like hanging around, chatting, waiting for the announcement that we're all there to capture. We're all kind of like, wow, it's like, feels like it's been like a while. Like it feels like we could have gotten to the VIP section. We all mainly wanted to go because we like wanted to be able to sit because the grass was wet, and we had like walked 40 minutes there, and it was the end of a 3-day trip, and we were all kind of tired. So we were all like, ooh, I'd love to get to that like VIP section up front at the stage so that we could all like sit. So we were just going, like some of the girls that I was with on the trip went over to go ask the people running the trip, like, hey, do you guys know if the announcement's coming soon or if we'll have time and we should all just go to the VIP section now? And they're like, it's literally like just about to happen, and as soon as it's done, we'll all go. We're like, perfect. So because we've been told it's just about to happen, all of us get our phones out. Now, for me, I obviously like don't film my own stuff. So my mom was there with me and she was going to capture it. So she had her phone up. Everybody's getting their Instagram stories on. And we're all standing in a cluster where the best view of the screen is so we can like best capture this for our social media platforms. I'm standing between two girls, one of whom was very, very, very tall. And then her arm is like up extended and she's looking at the screen on her phone. Our guy, the guy we're all there to film, is on stage and begins to speak. So they're all recording. And all of a sudden she goes, the girl, like the tall girl beside me goes like, oh no. I was like, what? She's like, something's not right. And then you hear the guy on the stage going, calm down, everybody calm down, just calm down, it's gonna be okay. That's not normal, you know? We're like, what's happening? And then she goes, oh God, security is shooing him off stage. Security just rushed the stage and like dragged him off the stage. And then all I hear after that is the girl on the other side of me yell, Molly, run. And chaos, the uttermost chaos ensued. It's like a movie in my mind, because obviously it all happens so fast, but it's like I remember every moment like it's like frozen and I was the only one walking through it. Like it's so crazy. So as soon as she yells run, you just feel this like whoosh of people and you hear the stampeding of feet. And it's nighttime, so I'm at that point like totally blind. Like in the day I have some light perception so I can see some shadows and light, but like at night I see pitch black, absolutely nothing. At this point it's pitch black. The sun's gone down, there's nothing. Our plan was that we were gonna leave as soon as the announcement went on. Like everybody else was gonna go to the VIP section, but my mom and I were really tired. We had Gallup there. It was really dark. I can't like see the stage or anything at these kind of events. So we were kind of like, you know what, let's just head back to the hotel. So our plan was that as soon as this announcement was over, we were gonna leave. But then he didn't even get to finish the announcement or get to the important part because this chaos just rippled through thousands of people. I believe looking at the articles online afterwards, it was estimated 10,000 people stampeded from our section, and where we were standing was the very back. So we had 10,000 screaming, crowded human bodies rushing towards us. I'm totally blind. They don't know that I'm blind. And even if they did, in these situations, it's kind of like an every man for themselves type of deal. So like not anybody's really gonna be that concerned, you know? And also take into account, I have a 90-pound black dog that's on the ground. When it's dark out, like people can't see him, which is why we are now getting a glowing body harness to put on him for these situations and dark events. Everybody's trying to save their own life. You know, it's very much a fight or flight situation, and all 10,000 of our section were flighting. It was all flights. Lots of flights taking off. There was 0 delays at this airport, my friends. It was go, go, go. I'm holding the leash and I'm trying to comprehend what is happening. He's like tugging. So my shoulder is getting like wrenched, but I'm holding on for dear life. He's pulling because people are stepping on him, they're trampling him, they're pushing him, and eventually, as hard as I'm trying to hold on, somebody karate chops through the leash. So I then do not have Gallup anymore. And we are in Central Park, like just miles upon miles of open space. And I was terrified. And it was all I could think about. And at the same time that I let go of the leash, I start yelling, somebody grab Gallup, somebody grab Gallup, somebody grab Gallup. And all I hear is my mom on the other side over to the right of me yelling, somebody grab Molly, grab Molly, grab Molly. And at this point, my mom is on the ground. My mom, as soon as the stampede came towards us, my mom got hit and knocked to the ground. So she's like laying on the ground with all of our stuff, like bags in her hands. Her phone was out, so she's holding her phone. And we're all separated from each other. Thank God we had 2 angels, 2 like unbelievable women who were part of our trip. 2 of the other influencers who were there saved our lives. Like they just jumped into action when everybody else abandoned us. And I don't blame them. Like this isn't me being like, all those other people that were on the trip with us, like They abandoned, like, no, like, fair.
No
Like,
time.
there's no, you don't think in these moments. Like, there was no time for those people to think. I don't blame them whatsoever for running. And I feel like I should also mention, because I think it was also playing on people's minds, the day that this happened was the anniversary of the Las Vegas shooting. And the event we were at was rather political and was quite a social good event. And so there was multiple reasons why this event could potentially have been targeted for bombings, shootings, and attacks of any kind. And so I think that was something, and the person who was on stage at the time was making an announcement that was kind of about like a do good for the world type of thing. Somebody tells me, like, I have Gallup. And I was like, okay. And then somebody says to my mom, I have Molly. So she literally stands beside me, and she's only like my height. I'm a small girl. I'm 4'10.5". She was probably only 5'1". She wraps her arms around me like a mama bear. So she's standing beside me, and she just goes like this. And she surrounds my body. And we're tight together, huddled together. And she just goes, Molly, it's going to be okay. Breathe. Stay calm. Walk as fast as you can. We're gonna get out of this alive. And I was like, oh, I'm getting chills actually talking about it. Like, it's making me like flashback. Like, it was intense. And so we turn, and I'm walking as fast as I can, but like, I can't see what's in front of me, and there's roots of trees, and there's like all this stuff that people have just dropped when they ran. Like, there's shoes on the ground, and there's bags, and there's phones, and there's jackets, and like just stuff everywhere, and there's all still crowds of people like coming behind us. And most people are moving faster than me because I just can't move very fast without being able to see. And this is one of those moments, I don't want to get emotional, but it was one of those moments where, as a blind person, I realized how vulnerable I am. Because if I was anybody else, I could have just run. But not only did I have to rely on the goodness of other people's hearts, even when they were supporting me, I still couldn't get myself to safety in the way that I would have been able to. Is something I think was life-changing in that way for me, and I think for my family and for my team, realizing how vulnerable I can be. And people with any sort of disability that hinders their ability to freely move within space or access information that's important in moments, how vulnerable we can be. I never really think about the fact that I am disabled because I am so confident and independent and capable. And it was one of those moments in my life where I was like, wow, my disability, my blindness could seriously affect my life right now. She has her arms around me, and we're like speed walking and taking like small steps. And she's trying to like get me around objects and make sure nobody like pushes me. And my mom is holding Gallup, who's still getting trampled. She's getting yanked here, there, and everywhere. And she's with a woman, and we're all trying to stay as close together. And then we get to a point. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. And again, like, I'm saying it like as if it was slow. This is all happening like really fast. And you're hearing, like, all the police and all the security guards are yelling, like, run, run, run! Like, even the security guards and police officers were yelling for all of us to run, get out, get to safety. We get to this section, and the security guards all start yelling, get down, huddle, get down, cover your heads. And they were telling me, like, to our left, there was, like, one of the tents that had been selling, like, water, and there was, like, 50 people all huddled together in this tent, like ducking, covering their heads. And then in my section, it was just body to body. Like, it was just hundreds of strangers coming together, like praying. You just hear people praying. You hear people crying. And everybody is down on the ground in like the smallest balls you can get into. So I had my head like in my knees, and I had my arms over my head, and bless the woman who was with me. She put her arms over top of my body. And I was like, what's happening? What's happening? What do you see? And she's like, it's going to be okay. I don't know what's happening. And all of a sudden, you just hear bang, 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 bang. Everybody just starts screaming. And you just start hearing helicopters all above us. Like, it's just all the sounds of helicopter choppers. You hear sirens filling the streets of New York City around Central Park. And that's when the security guard started yelling like, run, okay, get up, get up, get up, go, go, go. And so all of these people, again, stand up, but now because we're all so condensed, it's even more congested, and we were the front. So like all of the other people that had ducked and like curled into a ball on the ground were behind us and beside us, but we were the front, and what was right in front of us was a barricade and a bench. So the girl was like, Molly, we're gonna have to climb over a bench. And I was like, okay. So I feel like she like puts my hands on the bench. I like jump up onto the bench, put my hands on the back of the bench, jump over it, and we start now. It's like freed up because all the people before us had already run, and all the other people who had huddled down with us were behind us. So we had like open space, so we were able to like run a bit quicker. So we start running, and I kept asking like, is Gallup okay? Is Gallup okay? Do you see my mom? I want to make sure my mom can see me, because I know if my mom can't see me, she will panic. And I know if Gallup cannot see me, he will panic. And I want to make sure they're both together still. You can see them, because if you can see them, it means they can see me, and it's okay. Because what I didn't want is my mom panicking and like turning back to try to find me. Because, you know, you hear about moms and stuff like going into burning buildings to save their child. Like, I didn't want to risk my mom turning back because she didn't see me. The girl stops, she's like, I don't see your mom. I don't see your mom. And what I now know at this point, but did not know at that point, is that my mom, the woman she was with, and Gallup were all right kind of behind us. And by the time we had gotten up and jumped over, because we were the first ones, everybody else had already jumped up, and we're like all rushing towards the bench. And so by the time my mom and her girl stood up, and like they're trying to figure out how to get Gallup over this bench. They're like, do we get him under? Do we get him over? And as they're trying to figure that out, they get pushed by all these people, and they fall to the ground. And when they fall to the ground together, they gave us these string backpacks that you get at festivals sometimes to keep our stuff in. So it was one of those drawstring backpacks. The drawstrings, one of them got caught around my mom's leg, and the other one got caught around the other woman's leg. So they're now not only on the ground in front of this bench that everybody's trying to rush over, they're stuck on the ground because they're both attached using this like string bag. And people were literally trampling over them, stepping on them, which is mind-blowing to me. Another angel stepped into their lives at that moment. It was a man, and he stood up on the bench, and he put his arms out like this, and he said, everybody stop. You need to let these women get up and get over. And so if it wasn't for him physically holding people back, they would have continued to get trampled and who knows how badly injured. They ended up getting up, getting over. Then the woman with me was like, okay, I see them, they're coming now. And they saw us, and they start running, and she said like she could see that my mom was like looking around for me, so she started like calling to her, and they saw us, so she's like, okay, they see us, let's go. So we continued, and then we see a security guard, and we're like, sir, like what is happening? And he's like, I don't know if it's a shooting, I don't know if it's a bombing, we're trying to figure it out, just keep going. And we're like, okay. We run until we hit another bottleneck where it's all these people exiting the park onto the streets, and everybody is just like crying and huddling and calling people. And the one woman who was with my mom just starts crying and calls her husband, and the woman that I was with and me were standing there and we're like, oh my God, I think we were just in a shooting. Like, crazy moment, because you never think that you are going to be in that situation. And it was an incredibly surreal moment where you just like, we were at the point where we knew we were probably far enough out that we were safe, but it didn't stop you from feeling like your life was flashing before your eyes. Then we got to the street, and again, it was just nothing but cops. Cops on bikes, cops on horses, cops on motorcycles, cop cars, ambulances, fire trucks. Everybody was just scattering. Like, it was just, we get across the street and we're all standing there, we're like, we just like kind of stood there on the street because we knew, again, we were safe, we were surrounded by cops at this point. What do we do? At that moment, that's when a woman, she was holding her phone in the air and like waving her hand, and she was walking through the crowd, and she's like, NBC News, it was not a bombing, it was not a shooting. And we're all like, okay, like, thank God. But what was it? Like, what did we just go through? Eventually, we began to walk back to the hotel because there was like no hope of getting an Uber or Lyft because the street was just filled with human beings and cop cars. So we start walking back, we're all shaken. And then this dad runs up to us and he's like, what happened? Like, what happened? My daughter was there, my 14-year-old daughter was there with her friends. I'm trying to find them, like, I'm trying to pick them up. They called me. Do you know what happened? And we're like, okay, like, because everybody thought we were staff. That was the other thing. People thought we were staff because we were all wearing, like, matching outfits, like matching t-shirts and jackets, like all the influencers that were there, so we could keep track of our team. So people kept asking us questions. We're like, I'm so sorry, like, I don't know, I really, like, if there's anything we can help you to find her, I really hope she's okay. We end up getting back to the hotel and everybody else from our group is already there. Obviously, like, it took us a lot longer to get out and then get home than everybody else. So we got back, everybody was in the restaurant and everybody just ran to us. And this was another moment that, like, really meant a lot to me. All the other influencers and all of the staff, like, raced over to us and they're like, Molly, like, we were all concerned about you. Like, we've been so worried about you. Like, every single one of us, the moment we realized we were safe, like, you're the first person I thought of. Like, everybody was saying that to me. And everybody was like, I cannot believe I didn't help you. Like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, don't be. Like, you don't know how you're going to react until you're in that moment. That's okay, you know? It was just really sweet to me and really kind and heartwarming that without fail, like, every single person in my group came up to me and said, like, the moment I realized I was safe, I was so scared for you. And, like, I just wanted to know you were okay. And that was really sweet. All of us sat in the bar and had a few drinks to calm down and talked it out and, like, shared our own experiences, and it's like you just needed to get it out. Like, it felt so surreal, and we were looking up the news to try to see what happened, and all these articles start coming out about how one of the large metal barricades at the front of the stage collapsed. So the guy on stage started seeing everybody kind of pushing and shoving and started seeing it collapse and started saying, like, calm down, calm down. But then when it collapsed, everybody was trying to run out of the way, but because they were front and started screaming and running back, it just became this avalanche, basically like a dominoes effect. The bang, 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 we heard that 100%, even media outlets report, it did sound like gunshots. Everybody said it. It sounded exactly like gunshots. What that was, they believe, is because all the sections were barricaded off with metal fences, all of these were getting knocked down and collapsing. So it was going bang, 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 as they were all getting, like, collapsed and pushed down by this hurricane, tornado, stampede, whatever you want to call it, of human beings. What's crazy to me is how much the festival we were at and how much the media downplayed this situation. They reopened the festival that night and, like, whoever was still in could keep, like, enjoying the festival, because our section was the section that got stampeded and it was 10,000, but there was still, like, the other 50,000 from other sections that weren't a part of that and didn't know what it was happening, because it's such a big park. They all got to continue to enjoy the festival, and, like, the festival put out a statement. It was like, we're so glad everybody had fun. Like, if you lost an item, let us know. Like, it was crazy. Like, they just completely ignored the whole situation. And you could read for, like, days people commenting on that thread on their Instagram being like, are you kidding me? Like, my daughter broke her leg. My child, like, is traumatized. My wife lost her purse and can't get it back, and, like, my wife and child will never leave the house again. I got separated from my kid and I was terrified. Like, it was just report after report of injury and terror. People saying, like, my daughter's going off to college and she doesn't even want to leave the house now. Like, my child has been seeing a therapist every day. I honestly feel like this whole situation just shows what a sad state this world is in, that without fail, every single person that was there, including the cops and the security, their initial gut reaction was that this is an attack. This is something serious. This is a bombing or a shooting or some kind of mass violence, and we all need to get to safety. There's so many of these situations, like, around the world, and it breaks my heart, and I think none of us ever feel like it's going to be us. None of us ever think I'm going to be in that situation, but you just don't know. And whenever we hear about these situations, you know, happening, you pray for those people, you send love, you do what you can, but you move on. We can't move on. We need to figure out what to do to stop this from happening. Gallup, can you please quiet down? I think a lot of people might listen to this story and be like, calm down, you're being dramatic. Like, just a barricade that fell. But like, if you weren't there, honestly, you don't get to say that, because for those of us who were there, it was a truly traumatizing experience. And at the end of the day, it felt like we were in a mass shooting. Even if we weren't, it felt like that in those moments. And I think we are probably some of the only people on earth that will ever have that experience of feeling like you're in that without actually having to live through it. And my heart just honestly goes out to anybody who has lived through violence of that kind. It was honestly traumatizing and terrifying. You know, I remember at one point just turning to the girl beside me and being like, we need to find a man. Like, can you find somebody, like a man or a big person who can put me on their back or carry me to safety? Because I just felt like there was no way I was going to get out of this if somebody wasn't there to carry me out, because I couldn't move fast enough. I called my dad after, and I called my manager after, because they both knew that I was there at the event, and I didn't want them seeing news stories and getting concerned, so I called them. Initially, like, everybody's gut reaction. Even when I went back to the hotel and like saw everybody from the group, you need to have somebody there with you. Like, you need to bring somebody with you to keep you safe in these situations in case you ever need to get to safety. And so I think, even though for me, I initially felt like when my team said this, it was kind of overkill, I get it now and I understand. In the future, I think I probably, in any large festival situation or large conference or event situation, will have a bodyguard or security guard with me. And it's not because I think I'm bougie and fancy, and it's not because I don't want you guys talking to me, because I love when you come up and talk to me. It's because if I ever need to get to safety again, if I'm ever in a situation, no matter what it is, where I need to be safe, I can't just run. I can't do that. I need somebody who will be able to support Gallup and I and get us to safety as quick as possible, like a security guard would be able to do for me. And if there's anything I can do, is just encourage people to spread love in this world, spread positivity, leave a lasting positive impact, be a good person, do what you can to better this place, because we only have one planet. We all share it together. We need to come together and support each other and stop fighting. Stop creating this violence and negativity. If there wasn't so much of this happening in the world, we wouldn't have been in that situation where people's gut reaction and instinct was like, run, something really bad is happening. To anybody who was there that night who might have got injured, like the one girl in our group who did, I hope you're feeling okay, both emotionally, mentally, and physically. To anybody who's ever been in a situation like this, I hope you're doing okay and getting the help that you need. Don't be afraid to seek help if you're dealing with any kind of mental trauma, from whether it be a violent situation or any other situation in your life. It's really important. That's all I can encourage you guys to do. My mom and I had some minor injuries, which is shocking. We're very lucky that we got out with just minor injuries, and so did Gallup. And honestly, it just reminded me of what a wonderful guide dog I have. He remained so calm. He never barked. He never yelped. He just did his thing. And he's been an angel and a trooper ever since. I was so worried because dogs can develop PTSD, and he is in loud, crazy, busy situations a lot. That was my biggest worry, is that Gallup was going to develop PTSD or anxiety in those situations. But he's been a trooper. He's been so good ever since. And I'm blessed. Thank you to the angels in my life that were looking over me from above that night, and my family, and thank you to the angels who were there and helped us get out safe. So that's all I have to say to you today. Thank you for being a part of my Killer Bee family. I love and appreciate you and all the support you send my way. Give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Be safe and have a great night.